Feds seize $1 billion in Bitcoin, Apple patches 3 0 days, and election security in California's new Prop 24. All that coming up now on ThreatWire. Greetings, I am Shannon Morse and this is ThreatWire for November 10th, 2020. This is your summary of the threats to our security, privacy, and internet freedom. Before I jump into today's stories, make sure to check out the new Teespring store. The link is down below in the description for ThreatWire hoodies for the cold winter months, along with all sorts of show swag. Also, Hak5 is having some big sales going on for Cyber Monday, but they decided to start this week, so check those out in their store if you are interested. On to the news. I feel like somebody needs to write a book about this because if there is not one already out there in circulation, it would be so cool to read. Way back in the early 2010s, I feel like that was forever ago, a crime market called the Silk Road was happily doing business, allowing sellers and buyers to trade in money, drugs, fake IDs, etc., etc. It was a crime market. Silk Road collected commissions on sales, and the dark web market made over $600,000 in Bitcoin on transactions, according to the U.S. Attorney's civil complaint. Now, the owner of Silk Road, his name is Ross Ulbricht, he was convicted in 2015 and sentenced to 2 life terms plus some. That same year, a Bitcoin wallet became dormant, with no withdrawals happening, so folks started speculating about who it belonged to and how to hack the password to steal the Bitcoin. Investigations showed that back in 2013, 54 transactions went from Silk Road to 2 other Bitcoin wallets, eventually to a third one of which was this one that became dormant. So the reason why people were interested in it is because the USD equivalent of this wallet stacked up to almost $1 billion. The total was 69,369 Bitcoin, which was about $975 million last week. Now that value has increased to over $1 billion. On Wednesday, word spread that all of a sudden this wallet was emptied out and no one knew where that money went. As it turns out, the United States Department of Justice seized the Bitcoin, the whole lump sum, as reported in a DOJ posting on Thursday of last week. According to the report, the IRS Criminal Investigations Agency were able to track down the funds and filed a civil action to forfeit the cryptocurrency by using a third-party Bitcoin attribution company to analyze the transactions. Now, they named a hacker called Individual X as being the original person or persons who had hacked the funds from Silk Road in the early 2010s, and Individual X signed a consent and agreement to forfeiture with the U.S. Attorney's Office in San Francisco. So now the U.S. government has that money, but we still don't know who Individual X is. Apple just released a series of security updates that patch 3 0-day vulnerabilities found on their devices. These are being actively exploited in the wild, so it's probably a good idea to run these updates as soon as possible. The affected devices include the iPhone 5S and up, the iPod 6th and 7th generations, iPad Air, iPad Mini 2 and newer, and Apple Watch Series 1 and newer. On Thursday, Apple publicly disclosed the vulnerabilities and released the patches in response to the discovery and disclosure made by Google's Project Zero team. The issues include CVE 2020-27930, 27932, and 27950. The first flaw resides within the font parser on iPhone, iPad, and iPod devices, and it's a memory corruption issue. This flaw could allow an attacker to process malicious fonts that could lead to arbitrary code execution. They improved the input validation for this component in the patch. CVE 2020-27932 and 27950 both reside within the kernel, both of which affect iPhones, iPads, and iPods. The former could allow a malicious application to execute code with kernel privileges, and it was a type confusion issue addressed with improved state handling. The latter could allow a malicious application to disclose kernel memory through a memory initialization issue, all of which are now patched. Now, multiple other vulnerabilities were also included in this newest security update as well, after being disclosed by Trend Micro Zero Day Initiative, researchers at Ant Security Lightyear Lab, Cisco Talos, and independent security researchers. The good thing is, all of these zero days are targeted, so an attacker would need to be specifically targeting your device to initiate the process. With that said though, it's generally good security hygiene to update with security patches ASAP. To update iDevices, go to Settings, General, then Software Update. If a new download is available, choose Download, then Install. You can also turn on automatic updates in these settings as well. So depending on your device, you will need to download version iOS 12.4.9 and 14.2, iPad OS 14.2, watchOS 5.3.9, 6.2.9, and 7.1, and for macOS Catalina, that would be 10.15.7. Before we hit story number 3, I wanted to say thank you so much to my supporters at patreon.com/threatwire. Check out these fur baby photos from my Hush Puppy Perk level patrons. They're totally awesome for sending them in. I love the photos. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. Patrons also now get access to discount codes for the Hack5 shop. Make sure to check out this month's discount code over on the Patreon page. Every few months a new code will be generated and it might include different discounts or freebies. So keep an eye on the page for updates, and I do want to thank the Hack5 shop for helping me make that happen. And sometimes, yes, you can stack codes on top of the sales that are currently going on the Hack5 shop. As always, you can find all of the perks, including that one, on the Patreon page. So thank you so much to my patrons. I truly, truly appreciate you. So the election day has come and gone, finally. And before you turn off this video, don't worry, we're not going to talk politics. We are going to talk cybersecurity, specifically about a new proposition from California that could be a basis for other props in other states. Now, with regards to the national elections, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency stated that there were no publicly reported cybersecurity incidents with regard to the election. While some voting machines did have technical issues, none of these were caused by cyber attacks. Preparations were made well in advance, and the feds did not notice anything out of place via state or local IT networks. The Election Infrastructure Information Sharing and Analysis Center also reported the same. So maybe those voting machine villages at DEF CON are finally paying off. Cool. In California, privacy laws are already in place that have created a higher standard for consumers than what we see in the rest of the US. Now, the California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA for short, went into effect back in January. When I was living there, it gave me the right to know what information companies were holding about me. But the new Prop 24 that was passed last week expands this privacy law to cover more sensitive data sets, and it allows the state to establish a new state agency that will oversee enforcement. It's called the California Privacy Rights Act, and it allows the agency to battle tech companies who don't provide proper protections over digital privacy for Californian consumers, or any that try to get through any kind of loopholes in the law. The agency has a $10 million budget currently. Any Californian would still need to opt out of data collection for each tech company that they do business with or have an account with. The new law sets a precedent for what we'll hopefully get to see across the entire US. Wouldn't that be amazing? Before I leave, I want to say thank you so much to Manny M, who joined the Patreon team this week. Thank you so much to you. You are awesome. And with that, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'm Shannon Morse, and I will see you on the internet.